Batter up.
Rock and Chris, they're on the air. Yankees, Mets, they're everywhere. From the Bronx to Queens, the diamond gleams. MLB talk, the ultimate team. MLB is the place to be. Rock and Chris with the pitch you'll see. Swinging stacks and stories fly. Baseball talk that's amplified.
And welcome to a new episode of NY MLB Talk with your host, Rob and Chris, as we're covering the Mets, Yankees, and all of Major League Baseball. And if you're on YouTube right now, hit that sub button. We really would appreciate it. And if you want to follow us on Twitter, if you want to follow us on TikTok, we're at NY MLB Talk. If you want to follow Rob, it's R Maraska, myself, CP7NY. So, Rob, what's going on? It's just us tonight.
It's just us for a change. We can talk about baseball, right? And it's nice. You get to talk about the good things. I get to talk about the bad things or the not so good things. But your Yankees are having so far they had such a great opening week, Chris.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty amazing, right? 5-1 through their first 6 games. They swept the Giants, and then they go into Seattle, take 2 out of 3 from them. Should have been a sweep too. I mean, they just couldn't score in that first game, but yeah, I mean, no complaints here. Just unreal pitching the Yankees are getting from their starters, from the bullpen, just top to bottom there. The bats, you know what? Judge is, he had a couple of home runs in San Fran, but overall, he's not hitting well. But you know what? They're winning, and that's all that matters. So Ben Rice is great. Stanton's been great, so I'll take it.
Yeah, listen, Chris. I'm like, when are the Yankees going to give up a run? It was like crazy. That was crazy. I mean, the Giants were going to be a better team. And maybe they will. It's only the first week of the season, but what did you think about? I mean, you love that series, of course, but what did you think about the way the Giants played the Yankees?
Yeah, I mean, listen, that first series, they were just, I mean, they almost went the whole series without scoring a run, right? I mean, that's how bad the Giants were offensively. Just to give you some numbers, through the first 6 games, the Yankees have given up the third fewest by a team in its first 6 games in history, behind only the 2002 Giants and the 1915 Phillies, who did 5 runs each. We've only given up 6 through the first 6. And our starters so far, their numbers through the first 6 games are 33 and 2/3 innings pitched, 35 Ks with an 0.53 ERA and an 0.68 WHIP. I mean, that's just crazy.
It is. It's crazy, and like we said, the Giants almost didn't score any, but there may be a cure for the Giants coming up. Yes, this is live. Anthony Mealy, how are you? An old friend of mine. Yeah, Chris, it's the New York Mets may be the cure for the San Francisco Giants this week.
Yeah, I think so. You guys need it, because offensively, the Mets have not been doing good at all. You guys are pitching okay. I don't think the pitching is the major complaint here. I think it's the offense. Just looking at some of the numbers too. I seen a post by Anthony DiComo. The Mets are batting 162 with runners in scoring position, and that ranks 29th in the majors, ahead of only the Reds. And with runners on base, the Mets are slugging 278, which also ranks 29th, and that's only ahead of the team you're going to be playing these next couple of nights, the Giants.
Yeah, listen, I guess we'll get back to the Yankees in a little while, but the Mets have only scored 12 runs since they scored 11 on opening day. Okay, since the game where they knocked Skeens out with the help of O'Neal Cruz, right? If he doesn't make those mistakes in center field, who knows what happens, right? That's
Yeah.
you figured, wow, look at this game one opening day. This is a new team. They're scoring runs. They're taking, they're they're getting they're taking care of business. They're letting the mistakes by the other team, they're taking advantage of it. So I'm like, okay, well, this looks like it's a different team. And it's only week one. They're back to the old Mets where they're leaving runners in scoring position, right? Once again, they lost 2 out of 3 to the St. Louis Cardinals, an awful team that's basically a AAA team, okay? That's basically what the Cardinals are. They lose a game yesterday. Lindor, where was his head at? He forgets how many outs there are, so he costs a double play. Then he gets picked off of first, right? He gets picked off, and what happens? Soto hits a home run afterwards, and that's it. That was the only run that the Mets scored, and they lose in extra innings again with that damn ghost runner that's driving me crazy. I cannot stand that ghost runner. It's ridiculous. This is Major League Baseball. It's not Little League Baseball where we spot somebody, a kid. COVID's been over for years. Yeah, and Dan's right. Thanks, Dan. The Mets are leaving too many runners on base. It's the same old story with a different cast. That's all it is, Chris. What do you think? What do you think's going on with these Mets? It's only the first week, I know,
Right.
but still.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, remember last year we were having this conversation for like a month or so with Soto. Oh my God, he's struggling. He's not happy. Whatever.
Yeah.
That was so dumb. But anyway, we were both saying, listen, this guy's going to hit. It's just a matter of time. He's got to get used to, his new home, whatever, right? Playing with this new team. And these guys too. Remember, this is a lot of new players on the Mets, right? It's not the same old.
Right.
Remember, the Yankees are basically the same team as they were last year. So they're, they don't have to get used to each other. That's the one positive of running it back is, everybody's comfortable with each other. Everybody knows their role. It's everybody, with the Mets, it's kind of not a mess, but it's a lot of new players getting together. So yeah, Joe, absolutely. Season is way too early to be concerned right now. So listen, the one thing that bothered me was Lindor yesterday, right? He gets picked off. He doesn't know how many outs how many outs there were in the game at the time, right? That would bother me. Like, to me, that's a reflection on the coaching staff. Like, you got to get these guys, not that the players shouldn't be ready to play and should be locked in and all that, but you know what? That's something the coach has got to be like, all right, let's go, guys. Spring training's over. We're playing for real now. These games count. Give them that speech. And, you could say, listen, just look back at last year. And you know this, Rob. They didn't make the playoffs, right? Because of one game.
Right.
One game. And you could look back at right here, just this past week, you guys lost too many games that you should have won. Right.
Yeah.
So already you're putting games into that spot of, oh man, this game is going to come back and haunt us. This game is going to come back and haunt us. And it's only the first week of the season. So I listen, the Mets are going to be fine. They're going to get on a roll eventually. Their bats are going to get going. Their pitching is fine. So I think they're going to be okay. But yeah, it's a little, I just think they're stuck in that spring training mode. I don't think they got into all right, it's a regular season. These games are there. Let's start playing for real here, because they don't have that, I don't want to say spark, but there's something missing, it seems like, with this team. They got to get going.
Like, are they trying too hard? Like, let's talk about Bichette right now. And they already started booing him. I mean, come on already. You're booing the guy already. It's like, that's ridiculous. Met fans, come on. It's like you have a stadium full of Frank the Tanks out there, right? Going nuts over the first week. He's going to start hitting. He's always hit. I've seen people post the the stupidest things, right? Oh, this is worse than Jason Bay. I mean, come on, guys. It's
I
1 week
know.
already. Enough already. It's ridiculous. But right now, speaking of Juan Soto is the best hitter on the Mets right now. He's the only one that's really hitting, Chris.
There you go. And last year it was the complete opposite, right? Last year it was the rest of the team was doing really well, right? You guys started off pretty good last year,
Right.
Other than Soto. Now it's the complete opposite. Now you got Bichette batting. Let's see, he's batting 111. Lindor 143. Simeon 100. Benj, the rookie, batting 158 after he got the couple of hits on opening day. Polanco 211. Beatty 217. So yeah, I mean that's the problem. And you got guys on the bench too, like Vientos. Vientos has no role. I don't know why he's even on the team right now. If anything, I would put him in AAA and let him hit every day until an injury is needed, kind of like what the Yankees are doing with Dominguez and Spencer Jones and Cabrera. You know what? Let them play every day. Keep them fresh.
What
manager?
Yeah, Chris. One quick thing: is my audio better now?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Okay, all right, good. You just said it was breaking up a little. Dan brings up a good question. If they keep this up, I think he's going to be on a short leash this year of just excuse me, because of what happened last season. So it's not going to be like a Boone situation. And yeah, Armand says Vientos does not have options. That is true.
Yeah. So he's kind of I don't think he's not gonna produce by sitting on the bench. He's just not that.
No.
So I think that's going to be a big mistake. But yeah, listen. Their offense has to get going, right? Because their pitching is pitching well. Like I said earlier, the bullpen's been pretty solid. You know what? The offense has to get going now. Other than Lovelady, who everybody loves, right?
Yeah.
Other than him, I mean, the pitching's been pretty good. Garcia, he gave up a couple of runs, but that's about it. Other than that.
Listen, you got to be happy with Sanger, right? I mean, that's one
healthy,
thing,
right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he looked really good. The starting pitching is fine. They haven't given up a lot of runs. The Mets have been scoring runs. That's basically it. And now Lovelady, Mendy was praising Lovelady because he ate up some innings the other night. So give me a break with Lovelady. I don't know why they're in love with Lovelady. Like we were talking about this when we were on Mad's show the other night. And I said, last year the Mets signed him and DFA'd him 3 times. Okay, that's 3 times. And then he ends up back on the Mets after the Nationals DFA him, during spring training. And you're like, yeah, last year he pitched for the Yankees too. And I'm like, yeah, he did pitch for the Yankees, but he didn't. It's like the Mandela effect, I said. We just think he pitched for him, but right? Didn't it seem like he pitched for the Yankees last year?
I thought for sure he did. I thought we picked him up at some point, but how many options does that guy have left? Because if he has none, just cut him. I'm sure you got somebody in AAA that's just as good or has to be better, right? He can't be worse than Lovelady at this point.
Yeah, I just don't know what the obsession with Lovelady is. It's just too much. I don't want to see that guy out there anymore. Give anybody. They definitely have an arm in AAA that can come up and replace him. I think if he has one more, bad game, that's it. He's done.
Yeah,
but
no, I agree. He's got to be on his last leg, literally.
Yeah, and like I said, they lost to this Cardinals team, which the Cardinals are rebuilding, which they're not. The Cardinals are not used to rebuilding. That's a rarity because the Cardinals are always good. They're like the Yankees. The Cardinals in the National League have won the most World Series, right? So the Cardinals always have a great team. and their fans aren't used to it. And Busch Stadium's empty, and the Mets lose to this team. It was ridiculous. So we have to see what happens against San Francisco. They better start hitting against San Francisco, or else people are going to start going nuts. And the Yankees made San Francisco look bad. It looked so easy for the Yankees. So Mets, you have to do something about that. But we have something else, some more Met news that you brought up before, that John Hyman said that according to him, that Mike Francesca's claim that Lindor and Nimmo last year clashed over politics isn't true, because Lindor said he loves Nimmo. What do you think about that, Chris?
I believe that's true. Like if that's the truth, why not? I don't think it was a problem. I think we talked about it already. Like, the team just did not play good last year. They didn't make the playoffs. So you know what? Another game back, and he'll be back with the Nationals. Yeah, I think so, Dan.
Dan, that's a good one, Dan.
Yeah, listen. We talked about it. I think the vibe of the team was just not good because they weren't playing well. Right? That's a team that had lofty expectations. This was a team that people were talking about going to the World Series. But that's how good this team was supposed to be, and they didn't even make the playoffs. So the vibe inside the clubhouse, especially that last month, was not good. The last month or two when you guys were really playing bad. So I just think it was that. And you know what? The GM did the right thing by breaking the team up, right? Because that team just was not that it was bad players. It just together, the chemistry was just not good for whatever reason. So I think they did the right thing by moving on with some of these players. Like we said too, they didn't win with those guys. Simple as that. Time to move on. And they got decent deals for them. So they made the move. And we said it was good. It's it's losing a player that has been with you guys for the last few years, and you get used to them. Yeah, he's your player. I get it, but it's time to move on.
Yeah, it was time to move on. And listen, if the clubhouse was happy, that wouldn't make me happy either, because they were losing, right? You don't want them to be all happy. You want them to be pissed off if they're losing. They should be pissed off, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You don't want a good clubhouse. The team is losing, it's not playing well. Yeah, you want them to be pissed off and say, what the hell? We're not happy with not making the playoffs, or just hanging on to a playoff spot here at the time. So yeah, I just listen. The GM had to make a move, and he probably had to make a move because he was like, listen, if this team can't win this year, I don't want to bring this same team back next year and then we lose, because then it's going to be my job. So he had to make some moves.
Yeah, and he made some moves, and let's give it time. Yeah, Nimmo was gone because of health and contract.
Yeah, it was absolutely. But you also got a player back who's got a bad contract and who's on the decline as well. So it was kind of a wash. You're just hoping, like, hey, listen, hopefully Simeon is a better defender at least, and hopefully he could kind of recapture some of the offense that he had in previous years.
Yeah, I agree. So, Chris, what other stuff in Yankee land do you want to bring up right now?
It's all good. That's all I could say. Thank God. It's all good stuff. I mean, we can't. Nobody could really complain about what's going on with the Yankees. Yeah, Judge is not hitting, so we could talk about that. But just like last year with Soto, he's gonna bounce back, right? Like right now, Judge is hitting 125. He's got a couple of home runs, 3 RBIs. He's got 11 Ks through his first 25 plate appearances. So yeah, it's not good. McMahon, that's the one guy who I don't know about concerned, but I'm like, he's bad offensively. I mean, he's got a great glove, but offensively, he's got to start hitting the ball, because then they're going to be kind of stuck with this guy. And really, I mean, you can move Caballero to third when Volpe's ready and bring up Volpe at short, but I know nobody wants to hear that. So I don't know what they're going to do with McMahon if he doesn't start hitting, because he's the one guy that you're really kind of concerned about. Everybody else, Jazz hasn't really hit either. He's only at 174. Austin Wells 188. But they're 5-1 because of the pitching has been just unbelievable right now. A couple of guys are carrying them offensively. Stanton's batting 500 right now, 10 for 20. No home run. He's got 1 home run, 4 RBIs. And Ben Rice has been great. 412, a home run, 5 RBIs. He looks like the player that I think a lot of people thought he was going to be this year. So, but the rest offensively, not great. Otherwise, we'd be in the same boat as you guys, but we have I think we have 2 more guys hitting more than you, right? You got Soto, and that's really about it. So,
hey, listen, at least they're winning. And Dan says, "Yep, Rice and Stanton." Listen, we talked about this before. You think this year Rice could be an all-star, So, and I said that too on another show. He definitely could be an all-star. So so far so good for the Yankees. Now let's talk about our next Met. And how funny is this? Pete Alonso hits his first home run as an Oriole against Jacob deGrom.
That was pretty interesting, right? And deGrom is coming off, his first healthy season in 6 years, 7 years, right? So it was good. It was good to see him have a season like that last year, and hopefully he stays healthy this year. But yeah, Alonso got the first home run in Baltimore, no less.
Yeah.
So he got it out of the way because he hasn't really started off well either. So, but again, we know he's going to get going, right?
Yeah, of course.
You know what? When you have the track record that these guys have, it's just a matter of time. All right, they had a bad week. It's cold. The weather, hot and cold every day, right? It's different each day. So sometimes that affects these guys, but overall, they're going to be fine. The Mets are going to be fine. That lineup's going to get going. But yeah, it was kind of interesting to see Alonso hit the home run, his first one off of deGrom. Maybe they set it up.
Maybe they don't do that in baseball. There's no cheating in baseball. Come on. only 1 or 2 certain pitchers from the Cleveland Guardians, but that's about it. No, it was kind of, I mean, to see him hit that home run off of deGrom, I don't know, it was just, of course he's going to hit a home run off of one of his ex teammates. You knew that was going to happen, but deGrom, I still worry about deGrom because do you think he's going to have 2 healthy seasons in a row? Didn't they already say he already was feeling something in his arm last week?
I would bet against him having another healthy season, right? Like it's not, I hope he does. I'm not hoping he's not healthy, but you just got to go with the law of averages here, right? With him, he's just been hurt a lot. But all right, as a Met fan, how did that look? Pete Alonso in an Oriole uniform hitting a home run off of Jason deGrom in a Ranger uniform.
Well, Jacob deGrom, we're already used to. It's like, and to me, it's all fan. The way fans feel about their players, which we understand because we feel that way. When they trade somebody that you really like. But the Mets did the smart thing with deGrom, right? Not giving him that big contract because no matter what, Texas, that's a bad contract. And we knew that was going to be a bad contract. It didn't work out for the Texas Rangers. No matter what, he wasn't the same deGrom. First of all, seeing Alonso in that Orioles uniform is just weird because the newer Orioles uniforms, and Matt's probably going to say something, I don't know. I just don't. The new look Orioles uniform, he just looks weird in that uniform, with the orange and the full orange jersey. He just looks weird. But I don't care. It was kind of cool that he hit the home run off of Jacob deGrom. Definitely.
Yeah, I totally agree. But just like any other player, it's going to take a little while before you start like, all right, he's an Oriole now. Like, you had all off season, but now it's hitting you in the face, right? Now it's like, boom, Now you've seen him on the highlights hitting a home run or not doing anything much. But yeah, it is what it is. Everybody has to
Yeah,
move on. He's not coming back. Just like with the Yankees with Soto, he's not coming back.
no,
Everybody's
you got
clinging on to him.
you got to get over this stuff, and
Sure.
I'm over it now. That's it. Hey, he went for the money. The Mets didn't offer him money. The Mets, I guess, were kind of pissed off because he turned down that contract a couple of years ago, and they signed him. He opted out, and that is it. He had a great season last year, and he went for the money. So, I mean, we're going to go for the money, right, Chris? That's just it's human nature,
Absolutely.
basically. So you cannot blame them. What do you think right now? We talked about this, and we'll talk about that new show that we did last night. But this was one of the questions about about what team do you think is going to make the playoffs? Not a top tier team, and we talked about Miami Marlins, and so far they're off to a pretty good start, 5-1. What do you think, Chris?
I think they have a shot at sticking around. At sticking around in near the playoff race at least. I don't know if they're going to listen. I don't know if they're going to finish on top of the NL East, right? Because you got the Mets, you got the Phillies, and you got the Braves too. I don't know if they're going to top all three of those teams, but you know what? Maybe they could hang around long enough, play well enough into past the All-Star break if they could do it. I think they can, right? Listen, Sandy Alcantara is back to his old self, right? He's back to being
Yes.
the Cy Young guy he was a couple of years ago before his injury. So he looks great. Yuri Perez is another really good starter. The lineup looks really good, and they're going to get Stowers back, I think. Owen Casey looks like a really good bat there, and they have a catcher, Hicks, who just came
Yeah,
up out of
Hicks.
nowhere,
Yep.
right? 27 years old, and he's doing well too. So, yeah, and they signed Fairbanks, the closer. So that's another good arm in the bullpen. I mean, yeah, I think they got a shot. The other options were like the A's,
Yeah.
the D-backs, and the Angels. The Angels we
Yeah.
know got no shot at
Nah.
all.
No.
A's, I don't think they got enough. I mean, their lineup is good, obviously, but I don't know if they got enough pitching. And then the D-backs, listen, they're in the West, so that's a problem to begin with, right? Because
Right.
you're not winning that division, so maybe you could hope to finish second in that division, maybe. But then you got the Padres. So
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you with those teams. Like the A's, they play in a minor league park, but I just don't think they have enough to make the postseason. I just think there's too many other teams. Listen, there's going to be in your division. I know Red Sox fans are crying right now, but it's only the first week. All right, then it's not going to continue like this. I don't think it is. Chris hopes it does, but
right.
I don't think it is. So you have the Yankees, the Orioles, the Blue Jays, and the Red Sox right there. And Tampa always comes out of nowhere, no matter what. So that's we've been saying that the East is a beast in the American League, Chris.
And you know what? With the Marlins, the NL East now is becoming a beast when you think about it, right? If they're in the mix now with the three other top teams, they're that division's becoming a beast. And like Dan said, now they're coming into Yankee Stadium. They're going to be here for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So we're all going to get a good upfront look at the Marlins, and we'll see how good they are. I mean, listen, the way the Yankees are pitching, I think they'll be able to shut them down, but you never know.
Yeah, well, big day tomorrow, opening day at Yankee Stadium. It's going to be a madhouse. Fans are happy. It's a happy opening day because they started the season on the road, and they're coming back to Yankee Stadium in great shape. So tomorrow should be a really, really good opening day at Yankee Stadium, Chris.
Yeah, it should be. It's supposed to be a nice day tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to it. It'd be nice to get a good start on the home schedule as well. Get a win on opening day. Be really nice. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely. Now going back, oh, Cam Schiller's going to have it back. Yeah,
I think
I
so. I
think
hope
so.
so. Just stay healthy. That's what it is with a lot of these guys. And with the Yankees, if we got Rodon returning soon, and then followed up by Cole. I mean, this rotation is just going to get better, right? And then the bullpen is just going to get better because one or two of those guys has to get pushed into the bullpen. So it's going to be interesting how this whole thing kind of shapes up with when Cole and Rodon return. And Luis Hill is in AAA. He's going to be coming up soon because his turn will eventually pop up in the rotation. So we'll see.
Yeah, and I mean the Yankees getting off to a great start, and then look what they have coming back. I mean, they may be unstoppable. They I don't know. I picked in our picks, I did pick the Yankees to win that division. And I still think, that the Yankees, you guys are in good shape. Chris, I think the Yankees are going to take that division.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. Because Toronto's banged up a little bit early on. The Red Sox, you know what, they've started really bad so far. Baltimore looks, with Zach Eflin getting hurt, that's going to hurt them because they don't have any pitching depth, right? So that's really going to affect them a lot if they don't stay healthy, pitching wise at least. So I mean, I mentioned Toronto already. Toronto's the team that's going to go one way or the other, right? They're going to they're either going to excel or they're going to take a step back and maybe not even make the playoffs because of the injuries. Because like we were talking about Toronto, everything worked out for them. The second half of the year, they played great. They got hot at the right time. They rode it into the playoffs, and they played awesome. And they almost, came within inches of beating the Dodgers in the World Series. So can they repeat that? I don't know. And they don't have Bichette anymore. Bichette's with you guys. Not that he's doing anything with you guys, but still, it's hard to replace a guy like that, right? I mean, I know they signed Okamoto, but there's no way he's going to match what Bichette gave them last year. So
no,
but I think that's going to be a big difference with them. So yeah, I mean, listen, the Yankees just stay healthy, relatively healthy. Obviously, they could easily win this division, And I think, listen, they just took 2 out of 3 against Seattle. I think everybody would say Seattle is probably the second best team or the best team in the American League with the Yankees, and the Yankees, took care of them. And I just watching those games, I think the Mariners are still a bat or two short. The pitching is great. I love their rotation, nice bullpen, but their lineup, I think, is still like a batter or two short. I mean, they got Raleigh, they signed Naylor at first base. But I don't know. I just feel like every year, right? We've been talking a couple of years now. The Mariners are always that one batter short from really having a really good lineup top to bottom. So we'll see. It's early.
Yeah.
Anything can happen.
And Cal Riley, he's not going to have the season he had last year. I mean,
no, I don't think so. He's already started not so good. He had to get a game-winning hit against us, but yeah, I mean, and again, like you said, he's not going to hit 60 home runs again. That's going to be almost impossible. I think if he hits 40, it'll still be great. If he hits 40 home runs, I agree. As a catcher, 40 home runs is still great.
Yeah, we talked about that. Do you think there's a WBC hangover for some of these guys like Judge or like him? He didn't even hit at all in the World Baseball Classic. He didn't do anything. But do you think, there's some kind of hangover? Do you think that sort of messed up their spring training? And it was too early to be in some competitive games like they were in the WBC. What do you think about that?
I think there's something to it. I mean, you could look around the league, and a lot of these guys are struggling a little bit early on because I think they get out of their routine, right? That they normally do in spring training. So they're out of their routine. They're still playing, but they're just playing in a different stadium or with different players, and they're really they're playing intense games instead of just slowly, working themselves into shape, right? So a lot of these guys may not be, may not have the timing down because we've seen Judge and, you hate to bring it up, but in the WBC, he wasn't that great in the WBC either. So, and that's just kind of, you could see that happening now in the, in the regular season. He's off a little bit. Like he's not off by much. You could see it. Even Cohn was saying it. He goes, he's off by very little. And he goes, once he's on, these shots, the ones that are short, that are just coming up short are going to be home runs, right? So I'm not worried about it, but to answer your question, I think so. I think there is a little bit of a hangover from the WBC because it just takes them out of their routine. And these guys are all about routine, as we know. The pitchers, the batters. So yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. I think, but what's the answer? I know everyone's been talking about it. Should they have the WBC in the middle of the season instead of having the All-Star break and breaking for 2 weeks? And I really don't have the answer to that. And you can't do it after the season. That's just ridiculous. So do you think there's any answer, or you just keep it the way it is?
I don't know. I think moving it to the All-Star break, how some people were saying. I don't think that's the answer either. You know what? It's so much fun. The fans love it, so I don't think they're going to change it. Right? I'm sure they're making $1 billion from it or whatever they're making.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're going to change it. But yeah, it may also, but how am I going to say this? I think it's going to stop certain players maybe from being a part of it because they see that, wow, a lot of these guys are out of their routine and, their timing is down. They're not getting the same training they would in spring training as they, whatever. So, so I think for that, you might lose some guys. Some guys might say, yeah, I'm good. Like Judge probably is not going to do it again. If it's in 3 years, even in 2 years, it's going to be 35, 36. He may not do it. So, yeah, I think it might affect certain players from joining.
I think it might, I think it might affect the USA's team more than the other team because the other players playing for their country, it's like to them it's like the World Series. It really is. So maybe it affects the United States team more. I don't know. But that's how it seems. I mean, I don't know if you agree to that to some extent.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm definitely with you on that. But listen, if to me, if you're a player and if you're getting, if you want to join the WBC, if you want to play in these games, you got to prepare differently. You got to figure it out, right? Obviously, whatever they're doing is not working, so they got to figure something out. Whether you start your program up a couple of weeks early, something. They got to figure some sort of program out that gets them in shape, and they could roll right into the regular season because these guys are just, that there is a little bit of a hangover, and I'm sure, next week we're not going to be talking about it because all these guys are going to start hitting, right? Judge and Raleigh and Harper and whoever else. So, but
I think so.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
Figure something out.
So what did Dan put up? Something about Jazz has to start hitting? Yeah,
he's one of the guys. Absolutely, Dan. I agree. He's one of the many on the Yankees that have to start hitting, right? I mean, when I mentioned it earlier. The only ones that are really hitting is Ben Rice and Stanton. Everybody else is less than 300. Bellinger's 286. Chisholm 174. Cabby is at 190. Austin Wells 188. 125 for Judge. So yeah, he's one of the guys that has to start hitting. And he's another guy that was in the WBC. He didn't last as long as some of the other guys, but he was one of the guys in the WBC. Austin Wells, we mentioned him not hitting, and he was in the WBC.
Yeah, definitely. But hey, listen, can't complain right now. So everything's
No.
good, like we said in Yankee land.
Yeah,
Chris, do you have that picture of Trevor Bauer? You want to put that up? Get into this for a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't think this was going to happen, but Trevor Bauer.
Trevor Bauer, 35-year-old, right?
Yep.
He has signed with the Long Island Ducks. Okay, so he is back in the United States after playing in Japan and Mexico. Remember, former Cy Young Award winner. What do you think about this, Chris? Because we've had a lot of opinions on if he should have been back in the major leagues because he was not charged with any crime. We have to remember that. So what do you think about, a lot of guys have played for the big leaguers, have come back, tried to attempt a comeback with the Long Island Ducks. What do you think about this?
I don't know. I don't know. It's a tough thing. Like you said, he wasn't found guilty, but you also keep hearing people or women coming out saying, yeah, this happened, that happened, whatever. I don't know. If I was a team, I probably wouldn't sign him because I'd be afraid of something, you're going to find out something as well. So, he's 35. Think about this. He's 35 years old. He hasn't pitched in the majors since 2021. He's been in the Japanese and the Mexican leagues, right? The last few years. He hasn't really pitched well. Last year, just for an example, in the Japanese C League or whatever that is for Yokohama, he had a 4.5 ERA. So Mexico, he had a 3 ERA the year before. So I don't know. Take it for what it is. For his sake, I'm happy for him that he's getting a chance, and maybe he'll, maybe he'll take advantage of it. Maybe he'll end up getting signed by a major league team at some point. I don't know. Like you said, he's never been charged with anything, but when you think about it, it's been 5 years now.
Yeah.
You have to wonder that no teams, came even near the guy to sign him. So they obviously know more than we do. So maybe there's stuff out there that's not public. I don't know. But
yeah, they have to. But with the Ducks, he's going to actually be mic'd up for every game, because they're doing some kind of, I guess, with their social media and their live streams and everything. So he's gonna have a mic on him for every game, for the whole game. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, listen, I would love to know. I would love to find out what everybody thinks about this. If you're out there, if you want to hit in the comments, like, what's your feelings about this? Because I don't know how to feel. I don't know. I'm really not sure how to feel about the guy being signed. Because again, maybe we don't know the truth. Maybe there's more stuff out there that we don't know, or maybe he really is innocent. Nothing happened, and it's all good. And this guy's just been wrongly accused or whatever. So I don't know. But anyway.
The thing that gets me, though, is he wasn't charged with any crime. So, I mean, it's, that's where there's sort of a line for me, because if he wasn't charged, why wasn't he charged? And if he wasn't charged, he should have probably had a chance to play in the major leagues a couple years ago. But like you said, we may not know the full story. Who knows? Yeah. But if he wasn't charged, I don't know. I just feel like, he should have been given a chance. But I don't know everything. But check this out. Check out some of the players that have played for the Long Island Ducks, that played in the major leagues. This one I knew. This was about 2 years ago. Daniel Murphy, yes, the ex-Met Daniel Murphy, played for the Long Island Ducks in 2023. He was going to try to resume his career, but it didn't work out. So now he's working for the Mets, filling in the booth and different things. Jackie Bradley Jr., remember him, Chris?
Oh, yeah.
He played for the Ducks in 2024, and he set a team record with a 28-game hitting streak. And then the Mets purchased his contract, and we know that went nowhere. Tyler Zuber played for the Ducks in 2024, so they had some major league players on the team.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. We'll see what happens. Who was the left-handed pitcher? Oh man, who was that guy? I can't think of his name right now. Pitched for Boston. He pitched for you guys, I think. He pitched for us. A left-handed starter. He pitched for the Dodgers. Oh man, what's his name?
I'm going blank. I mean, you definitely could look it up. Oh, I'm on the comments for a second. Dan was glad to see that Yamamoto lost the other night.
I think we all were, right?
Well, definitely Yankee fans were. I can't think of. I'm going blank on who you're thinking of. So
I gotta bring him up.
You checking it out. So
yeah,
it's
left-handed starter, older guy. Pitched for Boston. He pitched for the Yankees. I think the Yankees were his first stop before they cut him, and then I think Boston picked him up, or the Dodgers got him. When I say his name, you'll know him right away.
Wait, are you? I know. I'm trying to think of someone else who played for the Ducks. Giordani, Valdespin, right? He played for them. I don't know. Whatever. If it comes to you, Dwayne Sanchez did also.
Okay.
He pitched for the Mets. Well, whatever. If we come up with it. But do you have that picture of that food item, Chris?
Yes.
Okay, let's check this out. This and it's too bad we don't have Anthony Savino on the show tonight, because we could have asked him what he thought about this. But Chris is going to put up a picture. I can't tell if it's up because of my screen. So
there you go.
Okay, there it is. Okay, this is the Rangers are selling this. Okay, this is called the 9th inning rally sombrero headwear bucket of nachos and nacho toppings. Okay, the toppings are sitting on top of. It's all over the hat, but it's actually sitting on top of a tortilla also that wraps around the entire rim, and it's easy for dipping, so you don't even have to take the sombrero off. You just dip it in. It's crazy, and then you eat it. What do you think about this item, Chris?
You know what? It's actually probably pretty cool if a friend of yours was sitting behind you, right? Because then it would be like right in front of them. So I think for that it would be pretty cool. But I don't know if I would want to eat that way with something on my head, and you know.
I know you. I'll tell you why. And thanks, Joe. It's cool for us to be on sometimes, he said, and he thinks it's tasty. But here, listen. Do you want to sit in Yankee Stadium or Citi Field with that on your head? With idiots are going to be throwing stuff on it, right?
Yeah, no,
and
definitely not.
They're going to be throwing stuff on it. They're going to be spitting. No, I'm not wearing that, and I'm not eating that stuff, because I've seen what goes on at our stadium. So, no, maybe it's a good idea in Texas, but I'm not eating that way, Chris.
Yeah, no way. Like I said, if your friend or somebody you know is sitting in front of you, and it would be right, literally be right in front of you, because he'd be a little bit lower. It'd be perfect, right? You could pick all the food off, off his head while you're eating. But while you're sitting there. So I guess that's not bad. But otherwise, yeah, that's probably not something that I would want to even think about eating.
No, I'm wondering if Anthony Savino would eat that. I mean, he probably would eat it, but he would probably have second thoughts like I did also. But that's another we found so many crazy foods. Like all of a sudden, remember when it just used to be hot dogs, peanuts, and Cracker Jacks at stadiums, Chris, and chicken strips. Now there's so many things that it's crazy stuff all over the place.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, and every stadium has new options, new food options, and everything else. It's really incredible the options that they have now for some of these. Even our stadiums. At Citi Field and at Yankee Stadium, they just had the day where they show off all their new options, their new food options. It's pretty crazy. So some of the options that we got now, considering, both our stadiums, right? The original Yankee Stadium and the original Shea Stadium, right? I mean, like you said, it was hot dogs, burgers, maybe pretzels, the normal stuff. That's it. Now it's everything. I remember the first time I seen sushi at Yankee Stadium. I was like, oh my God, they got sushi now. And then the new Yankee Stadium has, everything. They got their own steakhouse there, and they got every option available. So, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. It's like it's so different than it was than when we were kids, what we were used to. You went there, you were happy, you had a couple of hot dogs, and you were satisfied. Now forget about it. Some of these places have gourmet restaurants in the stadium. It's like crazy. It's crazy, but this is what they feel they have to do to get people to come in. It's just people don't go to the ball game just for the ball game anymore. They have a ton of things going on for kids. It all started with these pools, in Arizona, Bank One Ball Club, and Toronto has the hotel, and when all that stuff started, it just changed the game. And now it's like you go to a game, and a lot of people are not even focused or watching the game.
Yep. Yeah, and think about it. Teams just want you in the stadium, right? They just want you there. And you know what? The funny thing is, like, you could bring in your own food if you want,
right?
To these stadiums. Like, you could bring in your own food. They probably won't let you bring in a drink, in a bottle or anything. But
yeah, no, they won't.
They would let you bring in your own food. But they know, like, if they offer all these things, you're going to be like, oh, you know what? I want to try that hot dog. I want to try that 999 challenge, or I want to try, this pretzel thing or something. So they know that. So they know you're not going to bring in stuff. And once you're there with no food, they got you trapped. So you're gonna be able to buy stuff. So
yes, hey,
smart,
spend your money. Are there any comments on this? I can't see. There it is. Yes, you have to spend $500 to bring
more
ball game. To a ball game, right? Not a bowl game, because it's probably more expensive to take them to a bowl game than a ball game. But yeah, it's more than a boiled piece of pork.
If you have to bring like 2 kids with you and your wife or whatever, 4 people, you're talking about just getting to the game between the parking and your tickets for the game. You're talking easy $500, just for the tickets and for the parking, right? So before you even get to your seats, you're down $500. Now think about the food you're gonna buy. That's another couple of $100. So it's easily $700-800 for a family of 4.
That's when you think about it, because baseball used to be such an affordable option for the family. It's unbelievable. Parking alone is crazy. When it's $50 just to park your car. I mean, come on. It's out of control. Yeah. I mean, it used to. I remember for the postseason when it used to cost $25, people were crying. Now it's double that for just a regular season game, and it is insane. It's a shame because a lot of kids are going to miss out going to ball games because of that. But
it's all greed. It's all greed. I know the parking is run by the city, At least by
Yeah.
Yankee Stadium. I don't know if it is City Field,
Yeah,
but
both of
same,
them
right?
because they're both city owns both of the stadiums. So
Yeah. So
yes.
it's just greed. It's all greed from from the city, and then like yeah, you could get cheap seats at Yankee Stadium or at City. You
Yeah.
sit up in the holding up the lights or whatever, but yeah, sometimes you want to get a little bit better seats, especially for the kids, to get that experience. But unfortunately, it's going to be tough.
It, it definitely is. Well, we got one other thing to talk about. If you want to bring up the picture of the new show, we don't know if anybody. We know some people watched it, but this is a new show that we're involved with called Clearing the Bases, and we had our first episode last night. Um, it's only about a half hour, right, Chris?
Yeah.
So it's not that long, and it was a lot of fun. If you haven't checked it out, go to our YouTube page and check it out because it's fun. Chris, you want to talk about this we got a couple of minutes. What did you think about the show? How would you explain the show to people right now?
It's kind of like a around the horn from ESPN, where where they ask the panel a question, like Nick, the guy in the middle with the ugly baseball cap on. He asks he asks the question, and we all get a chance to answer it, and then he gives points out to whoever thinks gives the best answer, basically, right? And um, the first round was what, 3 questions, and the next one was
Yes.
two, and then the top one was one with the Hall of Fame. So it was good. It was a good, interesting conversation. Quick answers, nothing long. No, nobody. You're not allowed a long-winded answer. It was like a quick, under a minute answer. So it was really good, and I think people would really like to watch it. Because it was quick. You know what I mean? It wasn't long conversations, and they're interesting questions, like what team out of the four that we mentioned earlier that has a chance to be in a playoffs? Who's gonna win MVP if it's not Otani or Judge this year? What
Yeah.
was some of the other ones?
Yeah.
Uh,
Think about what of today's player do you think should be in the Hall of Fame?
right.
So it's just stuff like that. And Chris did win the first match, the first episode. So congratulations, Chris.
Yeah.
You won the first one. But yeah,
Won
it
the
was a
first
lot
one.
of fun. These guys are, they're all from different platforms, and it was a lot of fun. And I feel that it's very interesting. It's a different type of show. It's not us all just talking about baseball. We're asking questions. We have to answer it in less than a minute. That's what it is. So we have a minute, and it's quick, and it makes it go quick. And like we said, the show lasted a half hour, and it was really good. And we had a pretty good audience. All our audiences were out there, so it was pretty good. And I think, you guys should go check it out. Like I said, on our YouTube page, it's there, and I think they'll enjoy it, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely. Any baseball fan would really enjoy it. Definitely check it out. It's on our YouTube page. It's actually on our Twitter page as well. You could look for it
Yeah.
there. It's posted there. So either side, you could check it out, and check us out next Wednesday at 8:30. We might be a few minutes early next week, like 8:15. But either way, even if you're not live, if you want to catch us afterwards, you can catch us on the YouTube page or on the Twitter page. It'll be
Yeah,
up.
definitely. So, all right, Chris, that's about it for me. The Mets are on. They just started. So after we're done, I'm going to
Good luck.
catch the Met game. Thanks. They
Score
better
some
do
runs.
something. Yeah, they better do something against the Giants. So, do you have anything else before I announce our upcoming shows?
No, you know what? Just the usual. If you guys are on YouTube, hit that sub button. We'd appreciate it. The like button. You could hit that bell that's there, and that'll notify you whenever we come on, so you know when we're on. Other than that, thank you as always for joining us tonight. We had a nice crowd, some new people
Yeah.
here too as well, which is awesome. Joe, thank you. We appreciate it. as always, and
Yeah.
we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, and remember, just a programming note, we are not on tomorrow night. That's why we're on tonight. So there's no Friday night show. And thanks, Joe. Happy Easter
Yeah.
to everyone who
Happy Easter, everybody.
celebrates.
And happy
And
Passover, right? Isn't it Passover?
yes,
or
and
something
happy
like that?
Passover also. So to everybody out there. Monday, we will be back Monday at 3 p.m. I don't know if we have a guest yet. Just, we'll promo it. But anyway, thank you everybody. Like Chris said, we had a pretty good audience tonight for a Thursday night show, and let's see what the Mets do. Chris, I'll catch you Monday.
See you then.